On today's episode of Cooking on the Computer, I'm going to show you how to make an absolutely delicious, cozy game, all with ingredients sourced from your local game engine, or wherever you make your games. For both the sake of my voice and the sake of your ears, I'm going to stop doing the accent. You're welcome. Now, before we get started with cooking, you're going to need to know what exactly cozy is. It's basically anything that brings warmth, comfort, or is relaxing. By that definition, Doom Eternal could also be considered a cozy game, I would think. There's warmth, check, comfort, the ship's pretty comfortable, and I'm sure his suit is, and relaxing. Okay, maybe not relaxing, but 2 out of 3 is not bad. It's getting there, one step away from having Doom Guy Rancher. Somebody work on that. Now our first step in this recipe is you're going to bring the name to a boil. This isn't going to happen very quickly, but slowly and surely, you will get a good name. A good step to take to make sure that this naming process goes smoothly is to use the Boba Kiki effect. Sprinkle a little bit of that in there. What that means is basically you're going to choose words and letters that have soft sounds and not anything that sounds sharp. So, no K's, no Z's, no X's. Try to use some B's, some O's, some U's, some S's. Nice gentle letters to really make the boiling process of this name go as smooth as possible. Now while that's boiling, in a separate pan, make sure to constantly baste ingredient number 2, your environment. This ingredient you got the greatest amount of freedom to choose with. Environment options range anywhere from, but are definitely not limited to, a valley, a farm, a ranch, a second ranch, an island, a small apartment in a big city, big apartment in a small house, anywhere near a lake, and a camping spot. Just gotta make sure that it fits the theme of cozy, and that means using warm color palette and soft looking objects. A warm color palette will then lead into softer looking objects, which in turn contributes to the cozy aspect of the game. For ingredient 3, you're going to want to grab a baking pan to be able to layer this on top of it, because this involves resource gathering, management, and usage, and is just as important as the environment you put it in. Essentially, what you're going to want to do for this one is pick any blue collar job, really anything that involves manual labor, and add a little minigame twist to it to attempt to make it fun. Now you've got a wide range of blue collar jobs to choose from. You got fishing, logging, mining, masonry, construction, farming, electrical work, rancher, chef, forager, and maybe even the IT guy. I don't know if that's considered blue collar, but I'm sure you can make a fun minigame out of setting up a Wi-Fi network. Now you're going to want to add a pinch of ingredient 4 into everything that's cooking, the sound design. This isn't the primary focus, but it sure as hell helps with bringing out the flavor and everything else. Generally, you're going to want slower paced music, so something along the lines of andante, allegro, an allegro, or an adagio kind of speed. I knew 4 years of band class would pay off. I'm finally putting it to use. For sound effects, you're going to make quick, short, and happy sounding noises. I don't know what happy sounds like, but you can tell when a chest sounds happy to open versus when it sounds sad to open. Or maybe I'm just hallucinating. Basically make the sound effects dance. Pun intended. Now, ingredient 2 from a couple steps back should be ready to go. So you're going to take ingredient 5, the NPCs, and you're going to add a good amount to the environment. This is what gives your game that feeling of life. You're going to add as many different kinds of NPCs as you can think of. If you're stuck on what kind of NPCs to add, just look at any high school movie from the early 2000s. Pick one clique and turn it into a person. There's a lot of cliques to choose from. The geeks, the nerds, the goths, the athletes, the cheerleaders, the bookworms, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and I can't remember the 4th one. But they probably weren't as important anyways. But you get the gist. Don't add too many so that it becomes convoluted and overpopulated, but add a good amount so that there's variety for the player to talk to. And a good side effect of adding multiple NPCs is that you've got more players who can relate to certain NPCs or who like certain NPCs more. Remember how I told you to make layers of the resources and resource gathering in step 3? That's where this part comes in handy. You don't want to throw all of the customization and functionality into the pot all at once. Instead, you want to tuck it behind some of those layers and let the player unlock it through gradual progression. You don't want to let the progression take forever though, so use your best judgment and decide how much functionality and customization you want to add. Really, any polished amount of customization is a good amount. You just gotta make sure it fits well. And when I say customization, I mean making the environment look pretty. And that is the most important part of any cozy game, which is why you might not think you need 10 different flower pots, but the player sure as hell thinks you need 10 different flower pots. So get to making. Now once you're satisfied with how everything turned out, you're gonna take all of your pots and pans and you're gonna throw them into the cauldron of coziness. that took me 6 hours to make in Blender for 10 seconds of footage. My time management needs some work. Now, give your cauldron of coziness a good stir, and you've got a fully cooked, delicious, cozy game. No, don't eat it. It tastes like a Nintendo Switch cartridge. Yes, I've licked one before. No, it does not taste good. And yes, if I was given a crisp dollar bill, I might lick it again.